Hello everyone, welcome back. It's me, Indah Nalindasari from ONEderland Consulting. I have over 10 years experience as a migration agent and was once a migrant myself, which gives me a unique insight into the process. Please like this video and click subscribe to get all the best Australian immigration content and updates. Nowadays, the department has made several adjustments for temporary visa holders to get an easier way to get permanent residency in Australia. If you are a nominated skilled worker in Australia and exploring options to facilitate the process of securing permanent residency, this information is relevant to you. Subclass 186 visa is one of your visa choices you might be familiar with. This visa have two streams that could match or even benefit you in obtaining permanent residency in Australia, which are the direct entry stream for those who wants to go for the direct permanent residency, or the temporary residence transition stream for those who are a subclass 482 or 457 visa holder. Through this video, I will explain the general process of subclass 186 visa for both the direct entry stream and the temporary residency transition stream. Before diving into deeper, I would like to remind you that the Subclass 186 visa is an employer-sponsored based visa, meaning that you must be nominated by an Australian employer to work in Australia under this visa. Generally, Subclass 186 visa comes with three different streams, which are direct entry stream, temporary resident transition stream, and labor agreement stream. However, through this video, we will focus on the direct entry and temporary resident transition streams only as they're the most different on the service and the most popular ones. The first stream I would like to talk about is the direct entry stream. Just like how it is called, direct entry stream of 186 visa provides you a direct entry to Australia as a permanent resident. However, you must make sure that you have met all requirements before applying for the visa. The general requirements for the direct entry stream of 186 visa are: be under 45 years old, be nominated by an Australian employer, have your occupation listed on the skilled occupation list, and have a positive skill assessment outcome. Have relevant work experience for at least 3 years for your nominated occupation, have relevant education background for your nominated occupation, have at least competent English, and they don't have any visa refusal, cancellation, or the history in any country prior. You can apply for the direct entry stream of 186 visa either from Australia or outside Australia. If you're unsure whether you have met the requirements, you can grab your phone now and call our consultants through the contact details on our description box below. They will happily provide you an assistant with the initial assessment. The second type of the stream is a temporary residence transition stream. When you first came to Australia, you might not have met all the requirements for the direct entry stream of 186 visas yet. So, you needed a temporary work visa first to gain more work experience, or maybe to get a sponsorship. This stream can be your answer if you are currently residing in Australia on a temporary work visa. To be eligible for the temporary resident transition stream, you must meet the requirements for 186 visa as follows. Be under 45 years old. You currently hold a valid TSS 482 or 457 visa onshore. You have worked for your sponsoring employer on the same occupation for 3 years under the temporary visa. Be sponsored again immediately by the same sponsoring company of your TSS 482 or 457 visa. Have at least a competent English, and don't have any visa refusal, cancellation, of the history in any country or in Australia prior. In addition, your employer must prove that they were unable to find an Australian citizen or permanent resident to fill the position and that you as the applicant are the most suitable candidate for the job. Therefore, you and your employer will be required to provide evidence to prove that you've been working for the same employer as your sponsor, and ensures that you've been on a temporary visa and willing to stay in the country permanently. As Subclass 186 visa requires a nomination, the process applying for this visa might be not straightforward. So, what are the steps in applying for a 186 visa? In general, the process is divided into three, which are the standard business sponsorship, the nomination by the employer, and visa application for the candidate. Alright, let's go through the process one by one. The first one is the standard business sponsorship. If you're new to this employer-sponsored visa program and you have never lodged your company for a standard business sponsorship, then you must pass this step first. The standard business sponsorship can be done through online application, and when it is granted, it is usually valid for 5 years. You can sponsor, or the company can sponsor as many eligible employees as you want, while your sponsorship registration is still valid. The second step is the employer nomination. And this is required different condition for each stream. I will describe briefly on how the nomination process for the eligible candidate through the direct entry stream and the temporary resident transition stream of the Subclass 186 visa. Alright, so let's start with the direct entry stream. For this stream, the candidate or the nominee has to make sure that they have obtained a positive skill assessment outcome for the intended occupation to nominate. It is to prove that the nominee is eligible for the nominated occupation and they have met the Australian standard, while the company will require to do a labour market testing before being able to nominate the intended candidate. Employer nomination for the temporary residence transition. Meanwhile, this stream is more straightforward. The candidate or nominee will not be required to have a skill assessment outcome, and the labour market testing by the sponsor company is also not required. So, after making sure that the eligibility is met, the sponsoring company can directly nominate the candidate or nominee. Once all the requirements have been met for each stream, you can lodge a nomination application online through the online portal called EMI account. You are required to provide certain information and documents as evidence that the nominee meets all criteria. Some information and documents includes their identity, proof of education background, proof of their work experience, proof of their skills assessment, etc. The Department of Home Affairs will assess your nomination application. The purpose of this assessment is to make sure that your nominee meets all criteria and the standard set by the government. And the last step will be the visa application. The visa application, so let's say for the nomination application, so if this application is granted, congratulations, you can move to the next step, which is the visa application. And similar to the previous two applications, you can provide the visa application or you can complete the application through an online portal called EMI account. For the purpose of the visa application, the candidate or nominees are required to meet the basic eligibility, and it includes health, character checks, English requirement, and many more, including the immigration history check. Just like other visa applications, the Department of Home Affairs will assess your documentation, and there are also two possible decisions that you might get granted or refused. If you are granted the 186 visa, congratulations, your status is now an Australian permanent resident. After becoming a PR, don't forget that there are some conditions that you may need to comply as well. For example, must begin the employment within the 6 months from the date of entering Australia if granted the visa offshore, or from the date of the visa grant if onshore. Must work with the sponsoring company for at least 2 years. If eligible, then you can also move to become an Australian citizen. So that is all of today's video about the direct stream and temporary resident transition stream of the Subclass 186 visa. If you need assistance with your visa issue, whether you just need some advice or want us to organize or submit the application, you can find our contact details in the description of this video and pinned in the comments. It will be our pleasure to assist you with the 186 visa or other types of Australian visa. Our advisors will be there for all your visa needs, and ONEderland Consulting is here to help you. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more content and all the latest immigration and visa updates in Australia with us. I'm Indah Sari from ONEderland Consulting. See you in another challenge.